Hey there, everyone. This is Al Cow, and yeah, so I promised we'd have a look at the manual. A lot of people have told me it's worth looking at. The first first I thought I'd look at a manual directly from Nintendo, from the Nintendo website, but turns out it's not the same. Like, it doesn't have the story, and it doesn't have like the art and stuff. No, we want the original NES one, and I found it right here, so that's what we're gonna look at. All right, I adjust a little bit. I feel like I was wondering about like making it a little bit bigger, but I feel like I want to keep it 100%. Otherwise, like we're kind of limited by what the scan has been scanned out. But yeah, like the one on the original Nintendo site is like the WiiWare version of the manual or something without like any of the story or anything. It's like, what are you doing here? No, no, no. This is clearly what people want me to look at, so let's do that. First of all, a reminder that this official seal is your Sherman's. Nintendo has reviewed this product that it made itself, and it has met our standard of excellence in workmanship, reliability, and entertainment value. I forgot that was a thing. Not that official Nintendo seal of quality was a thing. But it was always kind of a joke. But it's like here's this ridiculous thing we put. But like, I always took it to mean that basically the game will work and will not brick your console, which was could be a problem in like the PC market and whatnot, where it was the Wild West and you didn't know what you were getting. Like, I always understood that the official Nintendo still quality basically just meant that no, yeah, here's a game. But no, no, no. Here it says that there's a standard entertainment value, whatever that means. All right, so here's this page here. Precautions. No, don't leave the game pack in the fire or in the freezer. Do not immerse in water. All right, okay. Not clean at all forever. All right. So yeah, so we got a story here. Let's find out what this is actually supposed to be about. Man, that art is like pretty high quality, honestly. They look like animation cells. The story of the adventure of Link. At the end of a fierce fight, Link overthrew Ganon, took back the Triforce, and rescued Princess Zelda. However, is it all really finished? Many seasons have passed since then. I don't know why this information is brought to us with bullet points, but here we are. Hyrule was on the road to ruin. The power that honestly, this looks like art from like the Zelda cartoon. Like the way the Moblin there is drawn, like not how Link is drawn, but like how the Moblin is. I don't know. At least how I remember it. Maybe I remember wrong. Anyway, sorry. Hyrule was on the road to ruin. The power that the vile heart of Ganon had left behind was causing chaos and disorder in Hyrule. What's more, even after the fall of Ganon, some of his underlings remained, waiting for Ganon's return. Then we show art from going from like a piece of art of like just complete bedlam to an old lady admiring Link's sweet new tat. The key to Ganon's return was the blood of Link, the valiant lad who overthrew the king of evil. Ganon would be revived by sacrificing Link and sprinkling his blood on the ashes of Ganon. So whenever I died in lava, then that should also stop the return of Ganon, strictly speaking. Meanwhile, Link remained in the little kingdom of Hyrule and lent his hand to its restoration, but circumstances did not look very good. One day, a strange mark, exactly like the crest of the kingdom, appeared on the back of Link's hand as he approached his 16th birthday. The worried Link went to Impa. Why? What is going on with your comma usage? Alright, the worried Link, comma, went to Impa, comma, Princess Zelda's nursemaid was shocked and frightened when she saw the birthmark. And then, okay. I feel like the images appear a bit, like we're not at the next image yet. When she regained her composure, she took Link to the North Castle. Alright. There was a door to North Castle called the Door That Does Not Open. Pictured above clearly opened. Only the descendants of the Impa family who served the king knew how to open the door. Impa took Link's left hand and pressed the back of it against the door. There was a sound of a lock falling open. The door slowly creaked open, and there on the altar in the middle of the room lay a beautiful woman. "Here lies Princess Zelda." Okay, sorry, Ben, speak calmly. Impa began to speak calmly. And then it shows a picture of the king, looking in profile, at a slightly different angle than the crowd shot. "Link, the time has come when I must tell you the legend of Zelda handed down in Hyrule. It is said that long ago. Alright. It is said that a long ago when Hyrule was one country, a great ruler maintained a peace in Hyrule using the Triforce. However, the king too was a child of man, and he died. Then the prince of the kingdom should have become king and inherited everything, but he could inherit the Triforce only in parts. The prince searched everywhere for the missing part, but could not find them. Then the magician close to the king brought him some unexpected news. Before he died, the king had said something about a Triforce to only the younger sister of the prince, Princess Zelda. Was it just me, or are the sentences built weird? Oh, no, okay, so he said that to Princess Zelda. Okay. Pictured here, the prince being invaded by the Castle 6 boss, I guess. The prince immediately questioned the princess, but she wouldn't tell him anything. After the prince, the magician threatened to put the princess into eternal sleep if she did not talk, but even still, she said nothing. In his anger, the magician tried to cast a magic spell on the princess. The surprised prince tried to stop him, but the magician fought off the prince and went on chanting a spell. Then, when the spell was finally cast, Princess Zelda fell on that spot and entered a sleep from which she never awoke. She might never awake. At the same time, the magician also fell down and breathed his last. Good going, wizard. Stupid idiot. In his grave, the prince placed the princess in this room. He hoped that someday she would come back to life, so that the strategy would never be forgotten. He ordered that every female child born from the royal household shall be given the name Zelda. That is stupid. From the stand next to the altar where Princess Zelda lay in a deep sleep. Oh, wait. Okay. The story is over. Look, every sentence was ending with an end quote, but the next line didn't start with a start quote. So I thought she was still talking, but clearly she's done. From the stand next to the altar where Princess Zelda lay in a deep sleep, Impa took 6 crystals and a scroll with the same crest and handed them to Link. For generations, my family has been handed down these things, which have been set aside for a time when a great king will come. They are written in an ancient script that no one can read now. But you can have the crest, may be able to read it. Okay. It is said that the key to uniting the Triforce lies hidden there. Now it is time for you to read it. Link glanced at the scroll half in doubt, but what do you know? Although he had never seen the letter before, he found that he could read them as if they were talking to him. Wow, it's very convenient. Hooray for magic. This was written on the scroll. You, who control the Triforce of the future, I shall hand down to you the secret of the Triforce. There are 3 kinds of Triforce: power, wisdom, and courage. When these 3 are brought together, the Triforce will show its maximum power. Of the 3, I have left power and wisdom in the kingdom, but Triforce courage I have hidden for a reason. And everybody can use the Triforce. It requires a strong character with no evil thoughts, but an inborn special quality is also necessary. Unfortunately, I have not found such a person during my lifetime. With no evil thought, but you need to be ready to get down and just kill everything you encounter. Therefore, I've decided to cast a spell on all of Hyrule. That's messed up. Okay, a crest will appear on a young man with that character who has been brought up correctly, has gained many kinds of experiences, and reached a certain age. But what will happen if someone else uses a Triforce before then? If it misused, it will produce many evil. Triforce of Courage is hidden in the great palace of the Valley of Death on the largest island in Hyrule. However, to enter there, you must first fight the Guardians and undo the binding force. When you have defeated the Guardian, which I made to prevent enemies from invading the 6 palaces in Hyrule, set a crystal in the forehead of the statue you find. When you have set crystals in all the statues in the 6 palaces, the binding force placed on the Valley of Death will be removed, and you will be able to enter the Great Palace. There you must fight the last Guardian, and you must obtain the Triforce only by defeating that Guardian. There's nothing to fear. You are the one to get the Triforce. You are the beacon of hope for Hyrule. And they show off the second boss. Alright. And the little drawing. He's much taller than he is in the actual game. Impa implored Link, who raised his head slowly after reading the scroll. Magic spell cast upon Princess Zelda will sure to be broken if the Triforce is used. Please, Link, unite a Triforce and save the princess and bring back peace to Hyrule. Link, somehow this gets spread across town because a whole bunch of people know that he's going to save Hyrule. Link nodded silently in approval and left the room after taking a long glance at the altar. Then, with a magical sword in his left hand and a magical shield in his right, that's right, he still has the oblique sword and the big shield from the first game, he set off alone on his long travel. Not his boomerang, though. He left that home. At that time, Ganon's underling were calling up new allies from the underworld and were beginning to work devilishly towards the revival of Ganon. But no, yeah, if you die in lava, you're not going to have a lot of usable blood left, so that would do it too. I'm just saying. Look at that, we get a name with like actual name of places. Midoro Swamp, Parappa Desert, it's up there. Oh, interestingly though, it's only the first, like it doesn't show post Death Mountain area. Yeah, okay, so that's how you get a name of places, but only pre-raft. After the raft, you're on your own. That's fine. There's 6 palaces, yeah. Alright, information after defeating Guardian of the Palace of Death, must have been that is Link's mission. Neat. There says like, yeah, like North Castle. Doesn't show all the castles. In fact, it don't. No, I think North Castle is where you start. It doesn't show any of the palaces. Hey, that's fine. You learn about those in the game. Alright, time to make a new Link! Alright, so instructions there. I appreciate the addition of a diagonal shot there in the corner. It's honestly, it's a little clumsy, but it works. It's what magazines did at a time. That's fine. You can't really read them like at all. It is impossible to do so. I mean, I could if I zoomed in, but I'm not going to do that. Hey, the first pink square there is false. If your game ends while you are in a palace and you select continue, your game continues from the entrance to that palace? That is untrue unless you're at the Great Palace. Oh my gosh, fake information right here. Is that true in the FDS version? Because that is just untrue. You have to run back. That's what everyone complains about. Huh. Okay. Oh, wow. Here they admitted that after 5 years, your game's probably dead. And in fact, it could even be even shorter. Great. So the start here looks like we got ourselves like a little guy towards the start of the game. I love how he comments on his own mortality there. While holding his sword underhanded, which is interesting, I feel like that would be extremely uncomfortable. Link has been given 3 lives, you know, as one does. You must treasure each and every one as he fights. Yeah, so I appreciate a little bit of personality they've got going on here with the gameplay zone. Alright. So North Castle, the outskirts, with like a very stiff drawing of Link on a path, very narrow dirt path. Then he just addresses the audience directly on page 20, just looking at the camera. Like, look at these sweet things. There's graveyards. The photo quality is not good. But that's just the scan quality. I mean, yeah, the photo quality would be pretty minimal for doing this. Alright, Adventure Link searching for the third Triforce. So here's where the game starts. Ganon's underling got strong and weak. Dogman is stronger than Blob. Oh dear! See, like, that's fun. They're trying, you know? They're trying. trying to make this fun to read. And it was fun to read, because everyone who played video game when I did at that time, like, we did genuinely read the manuals every time, but there was a reason for it. They were written in a lively, genuinely entertaining way, more often than not. What's these lines here? I don't know. Yeah, so, alright, fight screen. The fight begins! Shows ducking. Wow! It just spoils jump thrust and downward thrust. Does it say that you don't start with that? Or to inflict damage with the storm finale with the shield, most quickly watching the side when Link is at the you can fend off of what? When Link is in the stance at the right, he can fend off attacks of 0 height. When the attacks from a height of X, he'll be injured. Oh, I see. And if you look, there's a 0 and there's an X on the actual photos. Okay. Okay, and if a swordsman teaches him the art of sword fighting, he'll be able to jump and thrust up and down. That's funny. Alright, fair enough. Oh, this is fun. Use magic in full caps. Beating the enemy. Alright. Here we have enemies just flaunting the number of points they have to offer. When a game is over, the points become 0. The same when saved. It's also ominous. Alright, so don't need to read that, I don't think. Okay, so there it just outright says that it goes all the way to 8. Got it. Look at Link's little casting face there. That's funny. Inflict more damage, a magic point decrease less. Yeah, amount of life points decrease. So yeah. Alright. Oh, look at that. They even named the little bit. Here's an ache. They are an ache, bats. That is true. Explain the concept of desert. Oh, louder? That's not a great name. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Moby is here. Moby the Hawk! Here's the swamp critters. Dara. So the gnolls are Daras. Alright. Octorok looks a lot scarier in the key art than it does in the actual sprite. And there's this way there. Can't see them unless you have a cross. Alright, and here they're showing Link, having a bad time. Oh, that's Link's famous catchphrase. Oh, I've been done in. Oh man, I can't believe this is where it originates. It runs with Zelda II manual. I guess that makes sense. Alright. So, learning how to take time. Okay, there they outright say the things you can't block. There's no real explanation why, you just can't, alright? Oh, there's a full Link magic pose! That's what he looked like every time. Only use it when you need it. Try another day if things don't go your way. Oh, that's fun. So look, look, don't spiral out. That's the worst thing that can happen. Just stop. I mean, that's fair, you know? That's fair. That's fair to just say outright. So they're to talk about town. If I ask the people of the town, they might tell me about the palaces, thought Link, and he decided to drop in the town. Alright, there's swordsmen hidden in some town, too. Alright, fair enough. Look at that, they say you can pick out important hints, and the important hint they decided to show was hello. Alright. Got it. So they show the whole gameplay of helping people out, and they invite you in their house. Except you've been taught magic. This is very, very in detail. Oh, here they outright say that a palace turns into stone if you got everything. That's suit? That's sweet. But in the suit, powerful enemies like Iron Knuckle, mew. Sounds like, why does it sound like a cat? And Stalfos. Stalfos has remained Stalfos. Anyways, all of these were bioengineered by the king himself. Don't worry about it. So I know that's not what they mean, but I love how the palace is a complex labyrinth, and then they show a map that is like super simple. I know it's not the full map though, it's just that as a statement, as a complete statement demonstrated like this, it's pretty funny. They show about keys and more diagonal screenshots, because, you know, there's Horsehead. And then the Great Palace. Yeah, so just do that 6 times, and then it's the Great Palace. Alright. Oh, there it says outright that, wait, you can start from the entrance of the Great Palace. If press continue, even if the game is over, try your best. But if we go back up, if the game ends while you are in a palace and you select continue, the game continues from the entrance of that palace. What are you telling me here? Like, I feel like you're telling me several things. I don't know. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding. Here's another map that's a little bit more useful, and it tells you outright where the first palace is. It's even called First Palace. All right, let's learn about magic. So we got shield. Does what you'd think so. Jump, where Link... They gave Link a very Mario pose, and I think that's extremely on purpose. I mean, I hope that it lets him climb to a height he could not reach with a normal jump. Why would you cast a spell otherwise? Magic which makes you a fairy. No notes, so you don't need the rest of the entire circle. Fire. Use it against very specific enemies and nothing else. Spell apparently puts him to sleep. Magic to cast eerie spells. Its effect is still not fully known. Also said that it'll make the enemies tremble in fear. They're gonna tremble because they're gonna turn into a gelatinous state, actually. But you can't say that. Link has to be very strong in order to use Thunder because it's very expensive and has the most basic art of the 6. Alright, so here's the stuff. Magic jar, treasure bag, big ol' heart. I appreciate that they show the key art, but also like the actual sprite because they're not identical. Yeah, and there's the items. And look at that! Hammer! It can break rocks and cut down trees on the landscape map. It says so right there. Why does it cut down trees? Don't worry about it. Handy glove. Flip side on a different color. Raft. Boots with little wings. What? The boots don't even say what it does. According to legend, said that if you put on these boots, you can do something extraordinary. Great, thanks. Yeah, again, Flu. You will play the legendary mysterious music of Hyrule. You will play it. The sound rouses old powers. Magical key and the cross. Remember, controls change a little bit, and then you gotta comply with FCC regulations, you know. I don't know what that's about. And there's 90-day limited warranty Nintendo Game Packs. Very important information. I'm just going to leave this on screen so you can read to your own pleasure. But I think it's important to comply with the FCC regulations. So let that be my last action in this video. This equipment generates and uses radio frequency energy, and if not installed and used properly, that is, in strict accordance to the manufacturer's instruction, may cause interference to radio and television reception. It has been type tested and found to comply with the limits of a Class B computing device in accordance with the specification in Subject J of Part 15 of FCC rules, which are designed to provide reasonable protection against such interferences in residential installation. However, there is no guarantee that interference will not occur in particular installations. If this equipment does cause interferences to radio or television reception, which can be determined by turning the equipment off and on, the user is encouraged to try to correct the interference by one or more of the following measures. Reorient the receiving antenna, relocate the NES with respect to the receiver, move the NES away from the receiver, plug the NES into a different outlet so that the control deck and receiver are on different circuits. If necessary, the user should consult the dealer or an experienced radio/television technician for additional suggestions. The user may find the following booklet prepared by the Federal Communication Commission helpful: How to Identify and Resolve Radio-TV Interference Problems. The booklet is available from the U.S. Government Printing Office, Washington, D.C. 20402, stock number 004 000-00354. Now I understand why so many people want and need to read the manual. It's this. It all makes sense now. Genuinely, my apologies for doubting your wisdom. Truly, you have made a fool out of me. And this has been an extremely profound learning experience. Thank you.